What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. The United Front is finally upon us, and I got a ton of tips and tricks, a lot of juicy information. A lot of stuff wasn't explained super well, at least in the tutorials, so I think I have a lot for y'all to learn in this video. Not only that, if you guys aren't already in a union, try to stop by one of my live streams. I have 5 active guilds, and I can't promise you a spot like immediately, but almost every day I get a few people that are I can accept into one of our guilds, and then, because people are inactive, we got to replace them. And especially if you guys aren't in an active union, if, let's say, for example, today you notice your guild leader did not put in your members, or you didn't sign up for the guild war, or let's say just like you guys are getting absolutely stomped because there's no one is active, then at least try, if not in one of my unions, try to get in, a better one at least, because it's going to be very important. This is one of the main ways to get like those LD, the Apex summons. Let's say the Lily banner comes around in the near future. You want to be ready, especially if you're free to play. Not only that, but the rewards in general are just very insane. You get rewards for every tower. But we'll talk about all of that. Let's quit yapping and get straight into it. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and start. All right, let's go ahead and just jump straight in. We are fighting a lower level union, so it unfortunately is a little bit of a stomp. I can't show you guys the, let's go to our section here, and at least we can see some of the tower colors, and I'll explain all of this as we progress, as well as the the pathways and what you guys need to do to get the most rewards, as well as get your best chance of success at winning. We'll also talk about the rewards and all of that. But the first things first, one very important thing, and this was officially both tested as well as Etheria did tell us, that towers in this game, once you place your units down, they will snapshot. So there's going to be like, I think it's a 48-hour prep period, the layout phase, where you're going to place your towers, you place your units in them, and then as soon as you place it in, whatever gear was on at the moment is going to lock in. From then on out, you can go ahead and just play other modes. You can move your gear around, and your units will be saved the moment you lock them in. That's what we call snapshotting. All right, so keep note of that. You're good. However, if you decide to move your tower, if your guild leader kicks you out of one because you're in the wrong spot, then you're going to go ahead and have to make sure again that your units are on the right gear that you want for the PvP battle, for the union war, and then lock in again. Okay, so make sure y'all understand that, and that's one big thing that I'm very grateful that they went ahead and fixed here. Or really not fixed, but had in plan for this. Next up, when we're going to go ahead and attack a tower, and unfortunately I didn't record my attacks, but when you're going to attack a tower, make sure that as soon as you jump in, you commit to the battle. Now let's talk about two things at the same time here. Remember what I talked about snapshotting? Your gear is saved on your defensive team, so now you can go ahead and move your gear around for your offensive attacks. That means whatever you need, like let's say you decide you're going to fight one tower here, you want to bring certain units, you can go ahead and move gear around as you need, and your defensive team will be just fine. Now, one thing to note though is when you jump in, before you commit to a battle, make sure everybody has their shells, all their modules, and make sure all your units are correct the way you want, because unlike in the normal game, in our PvE, when we jump into a battle, there's a little prep phase, right, where we can swap units in and out, and then we can exit freely without losing his stamina. Here, guys, if you jump into a battle, as soon as you're in, you are locked in. If you leave, you get a loss. Your ticket is gone. Your entry ticket is gone. And you take a big fat L. So make sure. I saw a lot of people jump in and then they realize, oh no, my unit's not geared here. I didn't want to bring this character. And then they left and they got a loss. So make sure you are fully prepped before you jump into that. Now let's talk about a few things here that are labeled in the rules that kind of stand out, and I want you guys to at least understand. It's mostly with both. We kind of covered some of the battle phase, but if you guys see here, it says each member gets 5 attack attempts, consuming an attack permit. Remember what I said. If you leave, you get out of there. Now, this is one very important thing that I think a lot of us, we weren't sure how it worked, but now we know. Animus who have already defeated the opponent cannot be deployed again. I'm not sure if that's on a loss, but essentially, if you take a battle, and I think it's just as long as you use them at all, you cannot use those characters again. Meaning, when you fight, guys, you're going to need a lot of different units built, right? So you have 5 entry tickets, and there's going to be like 3 teams each. So you're going to have to bring, typically, 3 characters each for each battle. That's like a total of 15 different characters. And that is a lot, especially 2 weeks into the game. So make sure you have at least a variety of characters built that, they don't got to be max level, but at least you can put on some appropriate gear for them so you understand what they are. For example, like Tiamat's an HP Bruiser. Messiah here, we want full offense. And then for our Lilies, we want her fast. Tsukiyomi fast. Dina, we want to make sure we have some effect accuracy, potentially. Sometimes there's not a lot of effect resist, at least currently in the game, but you get what I'm saying. So make sure you are able to at least bring enough characters to finish off your 5 entry tickets. That's going to be like up to 15 attacks, 15 different units. Now let's talk about the rewards. There's one very important thing here. I believe these in-game rewards will be rewarded at the end. As you guys can see here that we have we've completely destroyed most of the enemy towers, but these aren't popping yet. So I'm assuming these are going to be handed out at the end of the calculation in these 37 hours that are going to continue. As well as there's going to be some victory rewards, as what I was talking about, where you get your Apex prototypes. And if you read here, guys, you must launch at least 1 attack during the battle phase to claim these. Okay, so there's a lot of rewards to be had, and you want to try your best to win, help your guild succeed to win, your union, because these Apex prototypes, I think for a lot of players, especially free-to-plays, are going to be extremely valuable in trying to save up. Remember, if we can save up to 80 of these, we can start getting towards those guaranteed summons. That is the pity. And remember, for some of the LD banners, the Apex banners, you can also use your gems, even though it's going to be a little bit expensive. But I think this will help a ton, so make sure you'll get that. Additionally, let me show you guys something else. I did claim them all, but it's not just these capture point rewards, but when you kill some of these special towers, you also get some, Hydra crystals, some investigation records. If you kill the big tower here, you get some shadow prints, and there's just a lot of points to be had, a lot of free stuff to get. So make sure you guys are active. Make sure you guys, if you need a union, try to stop by my channel or just find someone if you have a friend. Sometimes it's a crapshoot if you guys just don't know anybody. That's what I'm trying to ask y'all. At least you have me as a resource. I can't promise you a spot, but once again, try your best. And then additionally, just try to get all the rewards. Help your teammates succeed, because you're all going to want to get all of this good stuff. Okay, now that we've talked about like the basic, rewards and what you got to do, make sure you participate, blah, blah, blah. Make sure your guild wins if you want to get those Apex summons. One path to victory to winning, guys, is actually in the red tower here. If you notice, actually, let's use our home section. It's a little easier to tell. But if you have the global core and you see this United Front bonus, it says Dominion. For each node that has not been breached, defending enemies gain 20% attack and defense. That is a lot, right? That is times 7. That's going to be a ton of stats. So what you have to do as a guild is they're actually talking about these 7 purple towers are going to be what's giving this buff out. Okay, so make sure at least that's one tip. There's also some other things, like every single one of these special towers, the yellow, the purples, they give you some kind of random buff every week. So it's up to you guys as a guild to try and decide who's fitting this role the best. Now, additionally, if you guys notice, there are these secret kind of areas, and I think they call them shadow grids. I kept calling them shadow guards, but this is actually, where's mine? My tower is right here. They didn't get to mine, unfortunately, but it's gonna hide your 3 teams. And so this is kind of something, a little spin that I haven't seen in other games such as like Epic 7. But I like this. You want to put your players here that maybe have a little bit unconventional gearing, that maybe are a little better geared. That way, at least your attacking opponent is going to have to spend they're gonna have to scout this, and this will be completely unknown at least until the first time they attack. So this game is very, very, the fact that you can swap gear is going to be very, very attacker oriented. So try to take every advantage you can as the defender. Utilize these buffs. Make sure you place your members in the towers, that are good for them. Like some of them do like counter attacks here. Let's see what this one. Here's the counter attack chance one. Try to appropriately assign people in their positions. And then, of course, as well, put the members that you think will do best when their characters are hidden. Now, one final tip and something I want to tell you guys. I did have somebody kind of sharing this info. It's very interesting. This may not apply to everybody, but it's maybe more of a min-max kind of scenario. If you look at the garrison detail, I think this is for ours, but if let's go to the enemy, we can actually see, these are all the different tower, the core points. These are like the purple towers, the basic towers. Yeah, the big ones, right? You can actually kind of pinpoint. You have every character's name, right? And remember what I was talking about with the shadow grids? You can actually kind of narrow down who's where. It is a little bit of like research, a little Sherlock Holmesing investigation, and not everybody's going to do it. But if you guys are ever like min-maxers, if you're tryhards, if you're in one of those sweaty guilds, this is something to note, is that you can actually, let's see here. I don't know if they've fixed this now, but I think before, okay, there, maybe those other people have their profiles hidden, but you know, if a person doesn't hide their profile, we can actually jump in and see what units maybe they have geared. We can actually check their progression and things like that. I don't want to show too much here, as I think this should be kind of addressed and fixed. But guys, there is a lot of info, a lot of progression. You can check what they cleared. You can even try and find their recent clears. And, you know, let's say they're running a module or a shell drop. If we catch one of their recent runs, we can actually see their exact lineup, how much skill enhancement, prowesses, the lattices they have invested. There's a lot of information to be had here. And I hope they do kind of fix this. But for now, guys, if you care enough, go ahead and hide your profile. Don't show too much info. This might become a thing if they never change this setting. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that. Just some quick tips. Path to success. Make sure you guys join an active union. That is the #1 thing I encourage y'all. The rewards are so good. I think this overall mode is really, really fun. There are a few things that maybe could use a little bit of work, but overall, I think this is one of the best kind of Guild War, Union War layouts and formations that I've seen so far. Let me know what you guys think of it. And yeah, once again, try to stop by one of the live streams. I'll see if I can get you guys into an active guild. Anyways, thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.